Up next on UTRGV-TV, UTRGV's digital marketing director is reportedly in self-isolation after coming back from his trip to Europe. Plus, the global pandemic is not only affecting classes, but a student's graduation. We'll tell you why. And we have the latest on how professors of the College of Fine Arts are adapting to the online format for classes. We have this and much more. UTRGV-TV starts now. Welcome back to a special edition of UTRGV TV. I'm Juliana Quiroz. Today is Monday, March 23rd. President Trump declared a national emergency on the COVID-19 outbreak at least 10 days ago. We hope everyone is continually keeping safe at home and taking all the necessary precautions. We have the latest information on how this disease has affected UTRGV and the Rio Grande Valley area. At the top of this week's newscast, UTRGV's Director of Digital Marketing is back in the Valley and is reportedly in self-isolation after being stuck in Spain last week. Here's more on the story. A family trip set for a religious pilgrimage,
Originally doing the Camino de Santiago, St. James Way,
still ended up being a test of faith,
and it did make us pray a lot.
but not in the way they planned it would. Alex Garrido, UTRGV's Director of Digital Marketing, alongside with his 5 family members, ended up being trapped in Spain after the COVID-19 situation worsened overseas, with the government declaring a national lockdown.
Came to a point where we had nowhere to stay. We had no food to eat. We couldn't find an establishment that was open.
He says fortunately they were taken into a hotel by a couple as they continued to look for flights to come back home.
Flights just skyrocketed in price. There were thousands of dollars for each flight, and again, this is a large family. When we will get a flight, they will cancel it.
Even as restrictions tightened, Garrido says they found a flight leaving from the city of Madrid on March 17th, which was originally something they were trying to avoid, since half of Spain's COVID-19 cases were in that area.
Oh my goodness, we barely made it. Otherwise, we will probably be stuck over there.
He says his family took extreme precautionary measures, wearing face masks, continually washing their hands, and monitoring face touching, especially since Garrido's 78-year-old grandmother was traveling with them.
She does suffer from every time she gets sick from like a cold or the flu. It's a major event for her.
Garrido says they are now all in self-quarantine as recommended by the CDC and have not displayed any symptoms of the virus.
I have experienced tiredness, but nothing out of the ordinary. No sore throat, no difficulty breathing, no high fevers. I've been taking my temperature twice a day.
He says he's very fortunate his family made it back home and wants everyone to think about loved ones and community before making the decision to go out.
Right now, for the safety of the community, please take care of yourself.
For UTRGV TV, I'm Juliana Quiroz. The global pandemic is not only affecting schools. A rehabilitation services senior says she may not be able to finish an internship that is required for her to graduate this spring. Stephanie Garcia has been interning at a local elementary for the past 3 months. The School of Rehabilitation Services requires students to complete a 300-hour internship. Garcia says she has completed half of those hours. But now that schools are forced to close temporarily, Garcia says she is unsure if she will be able to complete the hours to graduate.
I'm really hoping that they will make an exception just because the situation is out of our control. And to be told, like, oh, well, you didn't complete your hours, you can't graduate, it's kind of upsetting.
Garcia says she reached out to the School of Rehabilitation Services and has not received confirmation. She says if the school will not allow her to graduate, she may have to retake the course in the summer or fall semester. Now that classes are switching to an online format, professors are forced to make adjustments to their courses. The College of Fine Arts is doing their best to adapt to this change. Our reporter, Verilo Infante, has more on those changes.
Since UTRGV has transitioned from a physical learning environment to an online one, students and professors are now adapting to what could be called a major change. Students in a fine arts class typically learn through a hands-on style of teaching, but with this change, costume design professor Jennifer Saxton doesn't believe students will learn the same way as they would in a traditional classroom setting.
It's going to be fine. I'm trying to take it as an opportunity for them to learn things we don't normally get to teach them that I still think they need to know. I feel like I'm going to teach them what they can learn in that kind of setting, and they're going to benefit from that. It's just going to be different from what we would have taught them.
Many fine arts majors, such as theater, are required to perform inside and outside of the classroom. But with the precautions being taken due to COVID-19, the university production's upcoming show has been canceled. As for the rest of the theater season, we spoke to the dean of the College of Fine Arts to find out the fate of future productions for the semester.
They're definitely going to be canceled for the rest of the semester. It's pretty clear. I mean, nobody is necessarily making that proclamation, but you have President Trump talking about the crisis lasting 18 months. And God willing, that's not going to be the case.
Block states that for music majors, there's a probability that students may be able to perform for faculty. He says the committee would be spread out 6 feet apart across the recital hall, so that they may do diligence in terms of grading, and the student can have a proper recording of their performance.
It's an extraordinary time. Yeah, obviously, it's a serious time, but it's a good opportunity to reflect, and we as artists know how to do that the best.
Reporting for UTRGV-TV, Verilo Infante.
The Teachers' Job Expo for Spring 2020, originally set for March 26th and 27th, is now canceled. The expo had been taking place every semester with representatives from districts across the state and country visiting the Edinburgh and Brownsville campuses. The UTRGV Career Center says they are now looking into a virtual fair instead. Details will be announced soon. The UT System Virtual Career Expo is still scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th from 10 to 7 p.m. We will have that link on our website. Although students will be taking classes online, some university facilities will remain open. According to the UTRGV website, the Student Union, all student support services, the Child Development Center, and food services will continue to operate. The library's times of operation have been modified. To learn more, head over to the UTRGV website and search for campus operations. After Hidalgo County issued a disaster declaration, a decades-old tradition in the RGV was short-lived for the first time. Rocio Villalobos has the details.
This action is taken not for the benefit of the government, but for the benefit of our people. So we ask your support.
As the coronavirus continues to spread throughout the U.S., Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez announcing a disaster declaration for the county, prohibiting gatherings of 50 or more.
The signing of this declaration puts all of our citizens on notice that it is serious, and we want to take every precaution possible.
Across the valley, events have been canceled in accordance with the social distancing encouraged by Centers for Disease Control. But the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show, which ranks as one of the top 10 livestock shows in the state, was set to continue as usual, assuring it was taking proactive safety measures. The disaster declaration came 2 days into the 10-day event. La Jolla High School Future Farmers of America President Kaylee Silva, who was set to show an animal for her 4th and final year of high school, says the news devastated her.
So we had already finished setting up, whatnot, and steers were weighing in, hogs were weighing in, and all that stuff. And then we were told that we had to leave by that day, that we had to tear down everything by that day.
Despite her disappointment, Silva holds no grudge against the show and says she appreciated them fighting to keep it going. Livestock show officials declined to be interviewed about how this decision by the county might affect future shows. Since the signing, several other valley cities have written disaster declarations of their own, including McAllen, Pharr, and Edinburgh. The 7-day declaration has been extended, and Judge Cortez is enacting a countywide curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m., taking effect tonight.
This isolates us by the actions that we take to mitigate any future spreading of this horrible disease.
In Edinburgh for UTRGV-TV, Rocio Villalobos.
Correctional facilities and hospitals have adjusted visitation policies to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Elizabeth Mendoza reports.
At the Willacy County State Jail, normal visitation days fall on a Saturday or Sunday. But since the coronavirus outbreak, the county jail has taken precautionary measures by changing their visitation hours. The jail is run by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and they have since ordered the halt of any kind of visitation hours until further notice. Training manager Joseph Adams say the jail has taken other measures such as sanitizing waiting rooms, visiting areas, and restrooms.
Sanitation and cleaning continues every day at our facility. Well, that gets done several times a day. In fact, before any employee can even come into the facility, our temperatures are read and by medical. Therefore, if we're sick, we obviously can't come in.
The Willacy County State Jail is not the only place changing its visitation guidelines. The South Texas Health System has since changed visitation guidelines at all facilities. In a Facebook post, Texas Health Systems stated, "In response to the recent outbreak of coronavirus COVID-19, we have suspended all visitation for the health and safety of everyone in our care." Since the new changes in city and county regulations, Texas Health Systems has been taking new safety precautionary measures to prevent the potential spread of the virus, starting with social distancing, which for now means that each patient is limited to at least one visitor at a time. Right now, the Texas Health and Human Services has temporarily suspended all non-essential visits to state hospitals and living centers across Texas due to COVID-19 fears. In some cases, visitors will only be allowed inside state hospital and living centers if a patient is at end-of-life care. Upon visitation, visitors will be subjected to temperature checks before entering any facility and will be asked for travel history. To find out more information about the latest guidelines and recommendations to prevent COVID-19, you can visit the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website, www.cdc.gov. Reporting for UTRGV-TV, Elizabeth Mendoza.
Now to this week's police reports. A vehicle was reportedly stolen last week on the Brownsville campus Monday. Police say a 2015 Dodge Ram truck was stolen while parked in lot B6 at the Casa Bella apartment complex. Police described the person of interest as a Hispanic man between 20 to 30 years of age, medium complexion with short dark hair, weighing 140 to 160 pounds. He is approximately 5 feet 6 inches in height and was last seen wearing a light-colored shirt with dark horizontal stripes over blue jeans. If you have any information, you are asked to call University Police at the number you see on your screen. Back on the Edinburgh campus, officials confiscated a former student's UTRGV identification card after a current student accessed a room with that ID. An officer made the discovery after the current student asked for assistance. That student told the officer that he had left the ID card inside a classroom in the engineering building by mistake. The student stated the former student gave him the card when he graduated a year ago. The entry was denied. The case is now being handled by Student Rights and Responsibilities. UTRGV announces the Western Athletic Conference has canceled all spring sports competitions, including baseball, golf, tennis, and outdoor track and field. Our reporter Victoria Cantu has more.
The Western Athletic Conference has confirmed they are canceling all remaining sports spring competitions in order to reduce the number of people becoming infected with the virus. The welfare of student athletes has always been UTRGV's first priority, and through the process of deciding to continue the season was a major concern. I spoke to UTRGV Athletic Director Chase Conk to discuss the effect the coronavirus has had on UTRGV athletes.
Days, the WAC made the official announcement that all spring competition is now suspended throughout the rest of the year. And so that's the guidance from the league. We obviously took that guidance from day one and started implementing our plan for our next steps with our student athletes. But it's certainly a tough time. It's an interesting time. You feel so much for our young people, especially our seniors.
Seniors who are unable to play for their last year are also questioning whether they are able to play for another season or if their college careers are over.
Definitely something that's being talked a lot at the conference level, at the NCAA level. You've heard statements from the NCAA talking about extending eligibility, especially those student athletes that are part of our spring sports. What that's going to look like, what are the parameters, how will all the logistics play out. Those are things that are being talked about right now.
That was your UTRGV Sports highlights for this week. I'm sports reporter Victoria Cantu.
That's all we have for you today. Please stay safe and healthy. Until next time.